Sure. So let us continue here. What I'll do is I'll repeat the agile topic of yesterday, what we had a discussion, right? So that you can have a clarity onto the topic over there, because it is going to be continued over here, right? We are talking about agile model, right? So what is mean by agile? It is all about togetherness, we said. Right, togetherness of the developers and the test engineers over there, right? A teamwork kind of a process to be implemented onto the software application, right? That is the reason over there. That is mean by agile term. But when we already have a spiral model, why do we approach onto this agile over here? The main reason is to overcome
communication gap
and to reduce documentation part, right? So without documentation, how do we communicate within the teams? They said we use keywords, right? Agile follows keywords like, where we said epic, right, is a large requirement. We said large requirement. It has been given by customer, defined as business needs over there, defined as business needs, which are being provided by customer. That is what we said. And then story, each epic will be divided into multiple stories over here, is a part of epic, right? So these are customer needs over there, right? Defined as customer needs. These requirements are being needed by a customer. And we took up an examples over there. Yesterday, I put up something called as e-card, right? So today I'll put up something example over here, right? An online banking application. As a user, I need to access something called as online banking application over there. The example which I put up into your notes over there, right? Now, in order to access that online banking application, the stories will be, right? As a user, I can register into the bank application, right? As a user, I can log in. Third one, as a user, I can check my account balance, right? Then the fourth one, do the transferring of that, right? As a user, I can transfer funds. This is what it is. The same thing which we put it into an yesterday's example of an e-cart website, a shopping website. Today I defined it in a different manner, right? That is what it is. And on every story, tasks to be performed by the main team of developers and test engineers, which we said like this. Tasks, the developers' tasks are, we do a review of a story, right? So doing some designing pattern, coding, and so on. The unit testings, the integration testings, right? All these are our tasks to be performed by our developer. Whereas the test engineer tasks, we do also start from studying the requirements. Based on the understanding, we prepare a test case document. do the execution of the test case document, preparing a bug report, and so on over there. These are the tasks. So this is what we had a discussion in yesterday's topic of agile over there, right? And what did we mention? The very first line, agile is an upgraded version of spiral. That line which we started yesterday, right, is an upgraded version of spiral with multiple iterations over there. So whereas in the spiral, there was only one iteration happening at a time. Whereas in the agile, we do have multiple iterations working on over here, right? So we'll see the process of this agile now. Right. So giving it as agile process now. So before starting with the process, let us discuss about the team over here, which we call it as Scrum team, right? Now, how do you define the term called as the Scrum over here? Scrum means
Group of people.
group of people, right, working on a set of requirements. If you people Google it, you will find this word which is being derived from game called rugby. Have an idea about the game there, rugby game?
Yes, sir. In
Right.
movie.
Movie. Right. Anyways, you got an idea. That is important for us. You
Yes,
watch
sir.
movies, you watch YouTube, or wherever you get to know.
Yes, sir. We have
Right.
an idea.
So in that they define it. When you Google it, like we'll open it. Does not matter for us now. Scrum meaning the part of a game of rugby when several players so and all it is happening over there, right? Now, can you say that a game of only rugby is of several players put their heads down and do the process of that? Is it only rugby happening, or there is a group of players evenly playing in cricket, in football? What happened? There's no group play in cricket. Is there a group player play cricket, or yes or not?
Yes, sir.
No.
Why, sir?
Hmm.
Why?
We
There are
don't have two
11.
teams playing at a time. I mean, all members of two teams won't play together in cricket, I suppose, right?
Perfect.
In rugby, I think two teams, all members will play at a time.
Perfect. There are 11 players each side, right?
They
I
play
will accept
individually.
there is a team size like this, but not all 11 players are working together over there. There's only one player who's bowling it. There's only one player who's facing the ball there. Finished. What about the rest of the team sitting idle or standing idle? Till the ball comes to that person, he's not doing anything else there. But whereas here in the game called rugby, all the players are working on a ball at that stage over there. Right? You see the image here. You see this image, the red jersey of these players, you can see here. So everybody is on working onto that particular ball now. So this is nothing but called as a scrum, which they call it as, right? What did they define it over there? Several players put their heads down in a circle and push against each other is nothing but called as a scrum. Sorry. Here is it. This is Scrum. So who's that? All several teams in the software side, which we are going to define them now, right? After it has been ball pushed, the secondary, these are playing individually now, right? One person is running with the ball and the other person is trying to stop him. That is secondary. I'm not going to talk about the entire game over here. We are only concerned about the teamwork over here, right? So that is what it is. A teamwork we are talking about, right? That is what we have mentioned it somewhere else. Yes. Togetherness, right? So the Scrum team, that is why we're mentioning it as, right? The first team member will be called as the core Scrum team. Now, what is mean by this over here? The core Scrum team. It is all about the developers and the test engineers. Main team, right? The main players, you can put it as, right? Then, as we said, the team needs to be led by your managers or the leads. Call your Scrum masters then, right? The product manager and your test leads, right? There are your Scrum executives who can do the designing pattern and as well as the delivery production part there, right? The designing team and the production team there. Anybody missing over here or everybody is done in this team? Anybody missed or all are come here now? If all are come, then we'll start up then. I'm talking about our Scrum team, not the team over here. You people are attending the meeting. That is the main person you people are missing, the business analyst. You people remember yesterday I was talking about the agile process will be a small review of your SDLC phases, right? So in the SDLC phases, which is the first phase or the person started from?
Business analysis.
We did not write it. So how do you start then? So he's the initial person to start here for us, right? So the product owner, nothing but a business analyst over here. So we will start from here, product owner. So what is his responsibility? As we said, he is going to interact with the clients, gathering the requirements, right? So that is what we said it in the requirements gathering phase. We'll add a few lines related to this person over here. Apart from gathering the requirements, interacting with the clients, he will evenly play a mediator role between the client and the company also for you, right? Let me put her here. The product owner, right, interacts with client, gathers requirements, and also plays a mediator between client and the company over here. So that is what his role will be, right? So apart from that, what is it he is going to do? The gathering of the requirements. We said in the business analyst, in the requirements phase, we said gathering the requirements and documenting them. So we said the document over there was BRS document and a BDD document, we named it as. But what about over here? We are not going to talk about documentation because we reduced it, right? So what is it we need to talk here then? So the requirements which are being gathered, what is it being defined as in the agile model? When we are not talking about the documentation, then what is it you're going to talk about?
Please communicate them to the team members, through a meeting sort of. Or,
That I'm least bothered. Meeting, sab chhod do.
okay.
Listen clearly. What
Yeah,
I'm saying it is, yes, somebody,
he will convert into functional documents.
madam,
Okay.
agile we are into. Golf firke, you want to do the documentation part, then we'll close this agile. Khel khatam. I heard something.
We'll use the keyword.
Then we are talking about the keywords from yesterday onwards,
Yes.
right? So the
Right.
requirements will be all talking about the epics and the stories over here, right? So the requirements which are being defined by the customer, this product owner will be making sure these epics and stories are being gathered properly or not over here, right? So let me put that line over here for you, right? Requirements gathered from customer or client, right? Product owner. Let me put all this in a shortcut for you because I don't want to put up all the words over here defining it, right? Requirements gathered from client by product owner, that is epics and the stories related to that corresponding project over there, right? Related to the project, right? In terms, it is being defined as the entire process, it is being defined as a product backlog, right? Product backlog we are talking about, right? As we said in the requirements gathering phase, business analyst interacting with the clients, gathering the requirements, documenting them, right? So this entire process is called as a product backlog. Who's going to do it? By our product owner. The requirements will be all called as an epics and stories over here, which are being provided by client over here. Now, once the requirements are being gathered, here they will evenly define the priority also for those requirements, right? Priority is also defined by our product owner in association with the clients over there, right? These two people will decide which is my important requirement to be delivered first, next, and last. So that is their responsibility. This is the entire process which is happening in the product backlog by the product owner over here, right? So we got the requirements now. Now, what do we do with those requirements now? What did you did in the SDLC phases over there after the requirements being gathered?
Analyzing them.
Analyzing them. That means you are doing a segregation kind of a process, right? So let us do that segregation process, and the segregation is all done in the user story. As I said yesterday, you can call it as a story or a user story over here, right? Requirements gathered must be segregated. Requirements must be gathered, requirements gathered must be segregated into various sets we are talking about, and that each set of segregated requirement is nothing but called as a story or a user story, you consider it as over here, right? Let me complete that line over here. called as user story over here. And this segregation must be conducted in such a way so that they can do an end-to-end testing possibilities over here. Now, what is mean by end-to-end testing? What is mean by end-to-end testing? It's nothing but from starting to the end to be conducted at the client level, which we're going to talk about over there, right? So the final testings, you can put it as over there, right? And we said we are reducing documentation. That means, as I said, we are not at all working on the document, not at all working on any kind of documents. We will be working on one of the documents over here, which is going to be called as a use case document for us over here, right? So this segregation, whatever it has been done, will be put up into a document which is called as a use case document over here, right? Let me put one line like this. Right, involves in preparation of use case document. Now, what is this document over here? So the document specifies all the required actions and responses of application. Now, what is the usage of that over there? All the required actions and the responses. That means I'll be entering the URL, the application should be opening in so and so manner with so and so content. So that is how the response should be, right? Required actions and the responses, the application response over there, right? Which helps you test engineer in preparing the test case designing in a easy manner over there. So that is the usage of it. That is the advantage of this use case document piece, right? Required actions and response of application, which helps in preparing test case document in easy. So that is what it is to be done, right? And when we are again talking about togetherness, the entire team will be involved in preparation of this use case document and the segregation of user story over there. So entire team will be involved over here. So when we are talking about entire team, so by the time when it has been happening, the use case document and all, what will be our masters will be doing then? That is your product managers and the test leads over there. It's all about conducting. They'll be conducting
To know the
the
status
meetings.
of the.
Yeah, they will be knowing a status. In the other way, they'll be evenly playing a mediator role between the teams also for you. Right? So they will be conducting a meeting. Do conduct meetings in daily basis, right? Daily basis. One second, people. Right. So we are talking about the meeting conducted by our masters, right? Masters, that is your product manager and the test leads over there, right? So daily basis. to discuss the status of task completed during yesterday, today, and planned for completion of tomorrow, whatever the spelling is, right? So that is what it is. They'll be conducting the meetings over there, right? Masters do play a mediator role between the team members, right? That is also the role which is being played by these people, by our product manager and the test lead over there. Check. So we'll keep aside the masters. There is nothing much to be done by these people, right? So the requirements being segregated. Now, what does it need to be done? Which we call it as sprint analysis and the sprint backlog we are talking about. Now, what is the general meaning of a term called sprint over here? General meaning of sprint.
The period.
Period.
Sir, in end-to-end testing, is it for a specific PBI or for the entire product?
Entire product.
Okay.
You asked for
So-
end-to-end testing, right?
Yes. So
Hmm.
if if the product is completed completely, and if you're going to test that product, it will be like end-to-end testing. But if we
Yes.
do the we do the testing of only PBI which is developed in the sprint, then it is not called as
No,
like
it is not called
system
as an
test.
end-to-end testing.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you. So,
You're welcome. I forgot the line which I was about to talk about. Yes, we are talking about a sprint analysis. Sprint, yes, the duration, the period of time, right, has been taken to accomplish the task for you over there, right? So the maximum duration to accomplish a user story is
15 days.
Yeah, you said days, I said weeks. So when they ask you questions in interview, what is the maximum duration of sprint? You always do answer it only in this manner. 1 to 2 weeks over there. Fine. 15 days also you answer it. Does not matter. Do not raise the number over there. They will make you confusion in that. How is that possible in that 15 days? Right? It may be more than that also. If you look at the image which I downloaded over here, it has 2 to 3 months over here. It is all based on the requirements over here. Based on the requirements, the duration will be increased over here, but will not get decreased over here. But when we get into the Jira over there, Jira by defaultly, it starts from 2 weeks onwards. But it has a customization of evenly 1 week, but defaultly you will find starting from 2 weeks and can go beyond the 2 weeks also over there, right? So sprint analysis defines the maximum duration of the user story to be accomplished, and that will be only 1 to 2 weeks over there, right? Is sprint analysis. Now, in that duration of time, which requirement need to be accomplished is going to be defined under sprint backlog by us, right? Sprint backlog defines the priority whatever the spelling is, I'm forgetting that spellings, prioritizing the requirements to be accomplished over there, right? Based on the priority which we are talking about over here, it is being defined under sprint backlog over there. So once the priority is being set, start implementing the tasks by the developers and the test engineers over there, right? And over here, can I say agile? Sorry, can I say agile is following a pair testing approach? Can I say agile
Yes, sir.
following
Pair testing approach.
pair testing approach?
Yes, sir.
Here's your answer. Because yesterday in the spiral, we said spiral is following a pair testing. And here agile, when we came down, we said it is an upgraded version of spiral. Then
With multiple iterations.
again, we will be talking about a pair testing approach. The entire approach is a pair testing approach, right? So when the tasks are being performed by our developers and test engineers, right? Each story is being accomplished, then we need to talk about sprint integration over here, right? So integration is where you will combine the user stories, right? A user story is accomplished. The team will eventually move on to the subsequent set of requirements, right? And those second set of requirements are being accomplished. We do an integration process over there. You remember in yesterday's topic, spiral, I have written one line. If validation of specific cycle is successful, the activities will move on to another subsequent set of requirements. Remember?
Yes, sir.
So rather than cycle word, here I'll be talking about story. Validation of
Sir, what is pair testing approach? The one you're talking now?
documentation which is being prepared by the team will be, so one person will be exchanged between the team members. As I said, I did not write any line over here. Entire Scrum team is involved in preparation of use case document over here. That means a person, technical person prepared one document will be exchanged between team members, which is in turn called as a pair testing. So why do we exchange is to for the better understanding, right? So better understanding about my epics and the stories over here. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
Right? So coming down to this line over here, sprint integration, right? If validation of specific user story is successful, the activities will move on to subsequent
Set of
set
requirements.
of requirements over there, right? Now, when do we do this integration? In your notes, I mentioned it as if any. Why is this now if any? So I'll take you back to the spiral notes, spiral topics over here again. Right. As I said, we have requirements of 10. So the requirements are being segregated into various sets over there, right? So this will be your epic, right? Requirements 10 are your epic. So the epic will be divided into stories. story 1, which has requirement 1, right? The story 2, it has 2 requirements. Make it as 3, because we are just doing our yesterday's topic itself. Story 3, we had 5 requirements over there. And the story 4, we had another 1 requirement over here. This is how the segregations are done, right? And what do we do? Each story will be undergoing the tasks which are going to be done by our developers and test engineers, right? Where is it? So product owner gathered the requirements, the epics and the stories, right? Which are being segregated over here, and each story being put into use case document, right? Where we need to perform some tasks over there, and the tasks to be accomplished in so and so time duration. Which story need to be accomplished? We have defined each story, the requirement over here as a priority 1. Consider this as your priority 2. This is priority 3. And this is going to be a priority 4 over there, right? So when the team is working on the story, the very first priority requirement, right, onto this sprint, right? There's a cycle happening now. The team is working on it, right? They do the planning, right? They do the risk analysis onto it. They do the coding and the testing at the time there, right? And at the last, evaluating it in front of the client over there, right? So when all these tasks, the activities are being accomplished successfully, what do? We do an integration with another subsequent set of requirements. And I said, if any. So in this particular story, right, in this particular sprint, right, the sprint 4, which is having a requirement only 1, which is being given priority as a 1, the team is trying to get accomplished over here. It has been successful. Can we do any integration in this particular story? Can we do any integration process in this particular story, in this particular sprint?
Yes.
Can we do any integration in
No. No.
this? Once you say yes, once you say no.
After
Now,
completion
final
of P1, we are going to start with P2 and then integrate both of them.
right. So I will, once this P1 has been accomplished, we move on to the P2. Within the P2, there are 3 requirements. We'll be doing individually, right? Every requirement individually it has been done. Then integration will be done within those stories over there. Later, I'll be evenly doing an integration process along with my P1 over there, making sure both are being combinedly working properly or not. This is what we are talking about in the sprint integration over there. So if the integration is successful, then we do a review, arranging a demo to the client over there. Arranged. Once integration is successful. Now, once the demo is successful, right? Now, once the demo is successful, release the corresponding user story there. Right? Release the corresponding user story. Once
Sir,
it is released, sorry.
Sir, one question.
Yes, ma'am.
After review, if the client wants any changes,
Can be
is
done.
it possible to done?
Can be done.
Can be done. Okay. And again, it takes time, no, sir. Again, it has to go from the initial stage.
There is no initial stage. We are in that itself. It can be easily done and accomplished in easy. If there is a bigger kind of a change, that is secondary we are talking about. That is going to start from the beginning again over there.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Continue.
Sure. Again, I forgot what I was talking about. Right. Sprint release. So it has been released to the release. So once the demo is successful, the user story is being released, right? Once it is released, we do have a last meeting called as, right?
What is your corresponding user story like?
That particular user story. Which user story we are working into.
Okay.
The user story you're working on to is checking out the balance over there.
Okay.
So this will be called as a corresponding, that particular user story, which I'm talking about.
It can be like one story or it can be like 3 or 4.
Depending on the sprint, how many requirements are there in that particular story or the sprint there. We are having only one. So there will only be one story over there, one requirement.
Okay.
So this is having 5 stories. That means there will be 5 requirements over there.
Okay, sir.
So out of that 5, I'm talking about one particular corresponding. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Again, forgot. Something is happening today for me. I was talking something.
In completion.
Sprint completion meeting to be conducted by entire team is involved over here, not conducted. Entire team, the Scrum team again. To discuss about what now? The user story, the requirements being successful, right? The requirements in the priority 1 has been successful. We are supposed to move on to the priority 2. In the priority 2, out of these 3 requirements, again, which is my priority requirement? Right? In the priority 2, there are 3 requirements. Under that, which is again a priority, that needs to be started first. You're not going to again do a blind work process over there again, right? So you'll be working on this requirement, the very first one again, right? So once it is being done, either this requirement is being successful or you're talking about all the 3 is being successful and moving on to another requirement. So why do we need to have a completion meeting again before moving on to another requirement over here?
To discuss about integration with next requirements.
That you are supposed to do it in the integration. Is it been working properly, combinedly, yes or not, that you'll be doing it over there?
Action items, what are the team has faced?
Problems they face.
Yeah, problems.
Right? The difficulties, or you can say it as, or the advantages, what did we had, right? So the drawbacks need not to again come across to the other requirements over there when we are working on to, right? Discuss about I'm not able to get the word called favorable conditions, so I put the word as advantages during previous user story over there, right? They will have a discussion about that. How difficult was it, so that we do not so that we can overcome all those difficulties when we are working on to another set of requirements. And then they move on in a similar manner again over there. So that is how the agile process is going to work on to. Is it clear?
So this process for only one sprint, sir.
We are only talking about one sprint. One sprint, one team working, the other sprint, multiple teams there are in the agile over there. Or else they will be segregating the sprint 3 and 4 to team 1, and the 1 and 2 will be given to another team over there, T2. Maybe like that, depending on the resources what they have over there. Right?
So S1, last
Yes, sir.
class, we discussed with Nageshwara sir, like he said, one sprint completed, then take to sprint 1, sprint 2. After sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, like that he told. Here we getting confusion, sir. Like,
No, I'm getting confusion what you are telling me, because I did not understand what you are telling me.
sir said like S1, S2, S3 like sprints. Once sprint 1 completed, then we go to sprint 1 plus sprint 2.
Yes.
After we go to sprint 2 plus sprint 3, like that he told.
Yeah.
Here we divide into S3.
Instead of sprint 1, sir has specified it as user stories.
That's it. And I started from reverse. Sprint 4 I started. Then I went on to sprint 2 there. He went in a sequential manner. I went in a jumbled manner. He was talking about sprint. I am talking about stories over here. End of the day, all are same there.
Okay.
You want me to erase everything and start up again for you? I'll do it. So as he get back my So he was discussing about the sprints there, right? Sprint 1, sprint 2, and so on. That is what he said, right? So in the sprint 1, what did he say? You have a requirements, yes or no?
Development and testing done
Yes,
for
the
sprint.
requirements need to be done by the developers and test engineers.
Testers.
Yes. So everywhere it is happening in that manner. Did I say that yes or no? Then?
Yes, sir.
What is more confusion than madam here? So once the sprint, this particular sprint is done, they have to move on to the sprint 2, right? When they are moving on to the sprint 2, we are doing an integration process. Sprint 1 and 2 both need to be combined and done. When we are moving on to the sprint 3, right? So there are requirements again over here, right? Needs to be done by the developers and the test engineers, right? Again, it needs to be combined, sprint 1 and 2 with 3, right? And all 3 need to be combined again and do it again.
Okay.
Was the same thing, right? He discussed about it. He defined it in the same manner, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Any more queries, people now?
Sir, after completion of these sprints,
Hmm.
Client get anything, some functionality he would think to add in the sprints.
He
How
wants
to
to
change?
add any requirements in a sprint,
Yes.
right? You are talking about, yes, he can add.
Okay.
Right? He can do an upgradations over there.
Upgradation. Okay.
He can do add up in the requirements in that particular, whatever the requirements related to that, he can add up over there. say like example, where is it? I am talking about, right. I'm talking about a login operation, right? The login operation specifies user ID and password, right? So I need to have an option again adding up later, right? I'll do an upgrading saying that forgot password. It can be done. There's a new requirement added. I can even add up over there, right? If it is, I'm trying to check my balance, right? My balance will be all talking about a savings account. Later, I want to add up evenly a current account also in that. Right? A user can open a savings account or either a current account, does not matter. Now, he enters so-and-so number over here, right? This will be an account. When account number he enters, he is going to check his savings account. This will be in that case, right? This will be my current account number like this. So there are requirements keep on adding. It is never going to stop anywhere. So everywhere it adds up, need to be done some developments, some testings, make sure those requirements are working in that particular sprint. Once it has been added, eventually do the entire testing again over there. Are the rest of the requirements evenly accepting with these modifications, yes or not? Clear?
So in that case, we don't have to start one more sprint. I mean, for these upgradations, we can do it in the same sprint, you mean to say?
If the upgradation of requirement is related to that sprint, no need to add.
Okay.
If it is not inside that, then you have to add up another sprint there.
Okay. So if you do some upgradations, then again sprint duration will change, right?
Yes, it will change. That is why I said it is 1 to 2 weeks, I'm saying, based on the requirements. In the image over here, it shows me 2 to 3 months.
Okay. Yes. And all these processes like user stories and everything, like as there is no documentation involved, so how are they conveyed? Is there any management tool where this all user
Yes,
stories
Jira. That is what Jira is there.
Okay, yeah, understood. Some management.
It's already 8, so I did not start up Jira. Otherwise, I'd have started the Jira tool also over here.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
So Jira is management tool.